Hello, welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Cedric Kennedy, and I will be talking about how cellular phones and greed helped make you stupid. Now, here's the thing. This is because we live in a society where people they don't have standards. They're not taught to have standards. They don't care about standards because when they have standards, people literally ridicule them for having them. You don't get anywhere when you have standards. Literally, the society is made for you to not take yourself seriously. If you take yourself seriously and want to be respected as an individual, as a human being, as a person of equality, you get mocked, laughed at. So the only way you're going to be able to emotionally make it through life is to subjugate yourself and make you the butt of everyone's joke. So if someone comes at you with some picking on you, insulting you or something, then you have to have what you got to have? Thick skin. If you don't have thick skin, then you're triggered. If you get upset, if you rebuke, if you rebuttal anything that anyone says negative against you or somebody else, you are considered triggered. That is what you call manipulation. That is social control. And why does this happen? Because they have to protect how dumb they are. People are stupid. Why do I say that? It's very simple. Before I get into really what's going on, because it ain't the cell towers that's making you like this. No. It started back in the mid to late 90s. But, I always have to back up. When I say people are stupid, I have to back it up. I can't just say that. You deserve to know why I say it. So in general, let me give let me throw out some examples. Okay? You got 4 years. 4 years for presidency. Basically 8 years when you really think about it sometimes. You could stay with the party that screwed things up. You could stay with the party that helped make things so hectic or give incremental change. Don't like either. You could go to the third party, but since everyone rails against it, you can't have your own standards and say, I'm going to be third party because of what everyone else will think, how everyone else will pick on you, how everyone else will treat you. You can't do that. You're religious, or are you not? You can't say you're not because you know what's going to happen to you. You know how you be ostracized, removed, ignored, shunned, shamed. It's being spoken of like you're the worst person on the planet because you decide to think, ask questions, ask for standards. I mean, think about it. We had TV shows like Jackass that were very popular. Ridiculousness, which picked on things that were like Jackass. But that didn't last too long because you're insulting the stupid people instead of being stupid yourself. It don't matter how many seasons Ridiculousness had, it didn't last. It is not as popular and well known and revered as Jackass. There's a lot that shows how dumb we are. We got, the Nazis out there, these racist people. These people that talk about their heritage. I didn't know your heritage came from Hitler's Nazi Germany. They want to protect monuments that are all about hatred and destruction, but yet they say it's their heritage, but their heritage is pure and stuff. You can't have it both ways. You can't revere someone that's responsible for beating down, hurting, and murdering slaves, black people, minorities of all types, and then say this is your heritage of good and peacefulness. You can't have it both ways. This is why I say we're stupid. I have to back it up. I got to support what I say. You can choose to watch the YouTube creators that got hundreds of thousands of people or 50,000 or 40,000 and they ignore you, say nothing to you, don't acknowledge you in the chats or anything like that. But they'll ask you for your money and you'll give it to them, but they give you nothing back. It's the same old vitriol, the same old rhetoric every single time, and you get nothing. But you give them your money, your time, your effort, and think you gain something. That's what you call a proof positive con. So, how did we get here? Why is it people don't know the difference between your and your? Why is it people can't spell I'm, the contraction of I am? Why does no one knows how to spell anything? And then when you point out how that they're spelling it wrong, they get angry at you. Why do we get this? Where is this coming from? Why are we this dumb? It's simple. For those that actually stuck around, now you get to hear it. This is the reward. It's simple. Back in the mid to late 90s, cell phone plans started. When the cell phone plan started, it was not what you have today for those that can remember, for those that were there. No, what it was, okay, you got your plan. If you use your phone and text during the week, it's free until you hit a certain amount of characters. You hit a certain amount of characters, and then it starts costing you roughly $1 per sentence. That's what they did. And people was like, I can't afford a cell phone. Yeah, the cell phones were like $10, $5, $19. The cell phone plans, they were like $5, $10, maybe even $19 a month at one point. But what happened? They made all their money off of people texting. People text and they, how are you doing? What's up? Where is the party? What are we doing today? They spoke in complete sentences because you know what? Education, schooling, they learned it. And then people said, look, man, I got important stuff to send. I can't do this. Where you at? Sup? And then they started adding things that were from the pager days. They wouldn't say a whole sentence. It'd just be 911. So it's an emergency, my name, or something like that. Or 411, I got some information for you. Or I need information on. So for 411 Susie, what's the information on her? 411 Tom, what's the information on him? Or I got some information on him. They had to do that, trying to save money. And save money is what they did. So they was doing that. And then people just stopped using it altogether. They wouldn't text. They would just call. But the calls, it got to the point where you would call and you could talk for about 40 minutes, an hour. And then that's done. So every minute you talk cost about $5. It was expensive. So yeah, people was like, call them up and, yeah, man, coming to the crib real soon. See you. Click. There is no retort. There's nobody talking back. Yo, man, I'll be there in about 5 minutes. All right, click. That's it. They get a message back to say, hold up. That's it. Okay, they'll wait. They'll get something that says 510. There's no semicolons, colons. No. 510. 510. That means 510 p.m. a.m. Hey, look, is it daytime? Is it 5 o'clock? Is it before that? Then it's 5:10 p.m. Better figure it out. Ultimately, what happens? People won't really using their cell phones anymore. They went back to pagers. Cell phone companies, guess what happened with a lot of them out there? Competition. And with that competition, free nights and weekends started.
Free nights and weekends.
Yep. See, she's talking in the background because she ain't mic'd up. So you got free nights and weekends. So while you could run up a grip of money on the weekdays, people's like, look, I ain't doing nothing until 8 p.m. Friday night. 8 p.m. Friday night, people figured it out. That's when they don't charge you to text. They don't charge you to make a call. And your cell phone bill don't go up to the 40s and 100s. It stays down there in the, in the $5 and $10 and $19 a month. And it was easy to run that way. So that's what they did. Nights and weekends, texting and talking and keeping your phone on the charger while tripping out with your friends playing games. That's what people did. And then it didn't take long for companies to be like, okay, you get free nights and weekends, but it's part of a $49 plan. Wait a minute. What the hell happened to our $5 and $19? Oh, those companies got phased out. We bought them out, and now this is the new plan. I ain't paying that kind of money, so they won't paying that kind of money. So then they had to drop it down to $19. And then they said, oh, well, ours is 14, but the competitor is 19. But they were also the competitor. Cons. So people's like, look, I ain't paying that $49, but I have no problem with this 19. It's sort of like if somebody come to you and they're like, hey man, you know, can I borrow $300? I'm finna get out of here. All right. Can I borrow $5? Well, yeah, $5 ain't no problem. I can do that. That's what that is. Sidra taught me that one. So that you got that happening. That didn't take long before everybody's plan was about $20 to $25. And then Boost Mobile come out. Yeah, $19. But then there was a grift using the same con, getting over the weekends and then charging all this money. And then at one point, the cell phones just, everything was like $35 because everyone loved their Boost Mobile because Boost Mobile had the free data for certain times and all this other stuff. So everyone started copying that. And then after a time, you get more stuff. And ultimately, cell phones get up there. They're expensive because now the cell phones themselves were starting to cost, you know, $35, $50, $60. And the cell plans were averaging $19.99 to $49.99. So you're going to pay a lot for that phone and you're going to pay a lot for a plan that you're barely going to use. And so people, when they had no choice, but because they got a text, people love texting, they wouldn't spell words correctly. So Y-O-U-R, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, that's shortened to the letter U-R. Back in the letter U has always been around for us. Always. I love you. But it was always intelligently done. The letter U was capitalized always. Always. You can thank us black people for that. It was always capitalized because a capital U is U. The lowercase u is a U. We knew that. And that's how we used it. So, are you there? It was always capitalized. Problem. Some black people crunched some numbers and it spread quick. When you use a capital, we use an uppercase letter for that time, that's 5 cents. When you use a lowercase letter, that's 2 cents. So no one used the uppercase letters anymore. Nobody would use it. No, when you use a period, that's roughly 10 cents, 5 to 10 cents. People stopped using it. They was crunching numbers and spreading it through the communities. Black people were the biggest users of cell phones at that time. Why? Because, you know, the rap artists had it, so we had to have it. It kind of went that way. And even if you never used one or had a need to use one, you had to have one because it made you look cool. So there you go. That's why black people had so many cell phones and had these weird cell phone plans that honestly we couldn't even keep up with. So black people was just getting cell phones. The phone shut off, throw the phone away or give it to somebody else and then get a new phone. That's why black people were the biggest users of burners. Good grief. And I am not playing around. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And those companies were still using the same con and grift. Still bilking you for all your money. So what happened? No capitalization, no punctuation, no period. Everything went downhill. And it wasn't just black people doing this. No, white people was doing this ahead of black people. But black people was trying to use that intelligence, trying to use that education. Get that school at learning. That's what they was trying to do. And it just got to the point where black people said, look, we ain't got enough money to show our intelligence. You know, sort of that whole thing of you ain't got no money, how you gonna take care of a kid? Don't have no kids, you ain't got no money. So if you never have money, you can't have kids. What happens to your whole race? You don't reproduce, right? There you go. Let that sink in. So can't use a cell phone, can't keep a cell phone, can't talk to each other. How you gonna communicate? Because landline prices were stupidly higher than that. Damn stupid. They were getting to the $100 area. A cell phone, you can get 2 or 3 cell phones for that. You can get 2 cell phone plans for that. Boost Mobile was doing their 2 and 3 cell phone plans for that. So that's why that happens. And that's why it became like that. And by the year 2005, it was settled. Just as to capitalize on the cell phone, the texting, Because that became its own language, which is dumb. Basically, just replace text with dumb. Same amount of letters needed. Mm-hmm. So, by the time I was playing Final Fantasy Online Gaming, I literally watched it go from text speak. In the game, you got a keyboard, a full-fledged keyboard. You can't, and I realized they don't know the difference between you are and your. And we humiliated people quite often. You're stupid. I don't own stupid, but I do own you. We did that often. We literally, what did that spark? Grammar Nazi, but I still have my weird, I don't like that term. I wouldn't like to be associated with a Nazi. I get it. Conquering Thought talked to me about that a while ago. It don't sit well. Something I'm not comfortable with it. You know, I'm not comfortable with it. You know, I feel if I'm a grammar Nazi, I would hate somebody that used proper grammar. You know, not be the one that uses proper grammar. Grammar, not grammar. You know, grammarly, not grammarly. Just saying. So that's a great reason why. But as I was saying, what language slipped right in, taking advantage of the cell phone, the texting? Leet speak, using numbers and stuff. You know what else went along with that at the exact same time? Talking like a goddamn cat. Putting a Z behind something. And then, you know, can I have foods? It's cute to do, and it's cute in moderation, but the problem is it took a life of its own, and people were just that way, and they didn't know the difference between that and anything else. Therefore, what happened in between 2008, 2012? People from schools, college, high school, and whatnot, they were filling out applications with these poor spellings, not getting the jobs, and then blaming minorities. While the minorities, like, we know how to spell, and we're going to keep ourselves in check, because in all honesty, you know what the minorities have that the majority don't? The outer city people don't have, the suburbanites. They don't have friends and family that harp on them for maintaining decency, decorum, and expressing their education, because without it, it's bad enough that they don't want to hire you. Don't give them a reason not to. So they tell you to show your education. You want to talk and be stupid on this and that game. Okay, fine. You fill out that job application, you better go in there act like you got some sense. You better write your name down and all this stuff like you got some sense, and write it as legibly and as perfectly as you can, so they ain't got to think about it. It's bad enough your black ass name ain't gonna get your black ass a job just because it's your name. It ain't Bob, Steve, John. And then when it is, and I've been subject to this, when your name sounds American and you show up and they see that you can't hide that blackness on you, and that double take they give you. I've even seen it on black people, black managers and stuff, that double take. Oh shit, you black? I didn't know that. I could see it. So yeah, cell phones, when it comes to everything that's happened, cell phone and greed made you stupid. You never knew it. You didn't stand a chance because it just became part of the norm. No different than calling things gay. If anybody can remember that crap. If you don't like it, if it's stupid, it's gay. Picking on homosexuals since, you know, you can't do it the way you want to do it, right? That's what happened. It became the norm to the point where you argue against it. People like, they make up every excuse, but you know, my friends are gay and they call each other that, so it's okay. Sounds a little bit familiar, like the N-word, huh? A little familiar, right? Well, y'all call each other that. Why can't we call you that? Here's the question. Why do you want to? If you say it's about free speech, you're full of shit. Shut your racist ass up. Cell phones and greed help make the United States and probably the whole world dumb. And Stockholm syndrome in that stupidity is why no matter how much you try to express a standard and have a standard, you get shunned and shot down and picked on. That's why it's like that. And if I am the only one that has enough standard to respect himself, because I'm not a girl, so I can't say herself. So if I'm going to be the one that's going to be able to respect himself and use proper spelling, then so be it. But I like to see proper spelling, because if all you can do is the letter U and the letter R put together and you don't know the difference, then you got to go back to school. No. Just ask, what's the difference? And someone can say, oh, this is the difference. I don't give a damn if you're 40 or 60 or 70 years old. Just ask. I don't have a problem educating you. Hey, this is the difference. This is why it's the difference. And that's it. You learn and we move on. Ain't nobody gonna bite. But you should at least know why you are where you are and why everything you see, people typing and making their responses on their phones with their thumbs, and you see the dumbass response that you get. Incomplete sentences, broken ass letters that make no sense, no correcting anything, and they probably see the correct word and think it's wrong. Mental laziness, mental fecklessness when it comes to your own education. You bust your ass through school, show it, all right? Show it. You go through school, you go through all that learning and shit you don't care for, you don't like, and you come out and say, I'm going to throw all that away, all that time spent, all that test taking and bullshit and arguing with teachers and all that homework. Man, you better show the fruits of your labor. What's wrong with you?
I work too goddamn hard to sound like an idiot.
Dumb. Stupid. Don't make sense. Yeah, people spell stupid with 2 O's instead of the letter U. That was 2009. I don't know if it's still going. But they were serious. I'm just saying. It's comparative reasoning for a reason. And either you can double down and defend the stupid or your own stupidity, or you can say, enough is enough. No matter what it takes, I'm going to do the right thing and show my education. Before I got out of here in Final Fantasy, I was told this. Yeah, we could tell that you're somebody that's at least, like in your 20s or older. I was like, how? Wow, what did I do? It's like you use punctuations and stuff, so we know that you're older.
That's a goddamn shame.
That's a goddamn shame. This has been Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.